Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. I'm just going to make a quick little video here. And how's it? Yeah, it functions. It functions. Alright. Good out of the showers. My ear's all kind of wonky. Okay, so I'm just going to make a quick video. I was going to try to set up the amp and everything like that. And, it's set up, but it's in another room, and I'd have to set things up a little more to do that. Let's have a look at this beautiful Charvel. Oh, this guitar does not inspire me to play. What would? What would? Like really? Like, does it get any nicer than that? Look at every time you look at this thing, it's a different angle. I know the lighting's not the best right now. Kind of a bit of a dark day out there. It's kind of raining. I'm working on some songs, and they're exciting for me. I'm working on a song called Pinto right now, and I got all the parts all predominantly picked out. And okay, I bought this guitar. March or May? What did he? I really don't remember. I'm pretty sure it was probably March when I bought it, because that's usually when I go on my spending sprees, is like in March, because it's like, okay, well, I'll have it paid off by midsummer, whatever. And it only took me 2 months to pay this guitar off, but I got such a great deal on it. And what happened was the guitar was $1,600. I watched this exact guitar model I got it from the Arts Music Store in Markham, Ontario. Now I think it's no longer called Markham, Ontario. It's called something else. It's been renamed. How nice is that? And it was there for 3 years. Okay, I never been in the store, but I know it was in stock for 3 years. So either they had multiples of this one. Sometimes they're like, okay, that one's going to sell really well. They'll buy one and like 3 of them sell in like 5 minutes, right? So it's like, okay, like they just, okay, yeah, whatever. Let's order 10 of them, and then. But if not, they had this same guitar in the store for 3 years, and the only thing that held me back from pulling the trigger on it. It had almost everything I wanted, except for I wanted 24 frets, and I wanted the dinky model with the nicer heel joint. Now they made a chlorine burst dinky with the 24 frets, but with a Goto. Like, why would they just not put the Floyd on there? Just charge more. You know what I mean? It just make it like the perfect guitar. But I already knew what it was like to play a Charvel San Dimas, and we'll get into the meat and potatoes in the video in a second. So ordering it online there was no mystery of what was going to show up, right? I just knew the Charvel as I forget when the San Dimas came in, 2006, 2008, something like that. And they've been a very successful model for Charvel, for sure. And they're a workhorse guitar. They're the best playing. This is the best Fender Strat that's ever been built. It's a super Strat, right? It's a Fender body. It's a Fender neck. The fingerboard is a Jackson, basically. So you get the best of like everything. And the taper on the neck is really like, let's say you want to buy a Fender, what's the Pro model or whatever. Yeah, this is the neck. It's got the rolled edges, completely seamless on the fret. Like you can tell there's a fret when you go by it, but it's like so smooth. It's so silky smooth. It's a natural satin finish neck. It's just the guitar is just as good as a guitar can get, right? And it inspires you to play it. The problem I see online, there's always problem. The problem's always just online. It's not in the real world, just online. Is you get these guys, they play and they're in their room and they're just working on technique, which that's fine, but you got to ask yourself why you're doing it, right? Like, it's great to come up with new techniques and find new stuff, but what are you going to do when you learn that new thing? Well, I just got to get it so perfect that I can never get it wrong. Okay, I understand that part of it too. You play things not till you get it right, but till you can't get it wrong. That's how you become a good musician. It's not about perfection per se. It's about repetition until whatever it is you're playing is so ingrained in you that you literally your muscles will take over before your brain will, and you really can't play whatever it is wrong. And if you're in a cover band, you'll understand this 100%. That you practice it and you practice it. So the first time you play it live, you miss a bunch of notes. The singer comes in at the wrong time. The drummer's like all over the place. The bass player, he doesn't even. What song are we doing? Yeah, okay. The 10th time you play it live, you sound like you wrote the song yourselves, right? And it's just you're master of it. Why? Because that repetition and then all the jams in between and stuff like that. Now, by the time you get that song so good, you are sick of that damn song. If you see a really like amazing band and the performance is incredible, and there's like this whole stage show, it's like, oh wow, these guys are just so intuitive and so spontaneous. And then you watch like videos of their show and you'll see that there's a bit of a stage act that they do every night, so they've perfected it, right? And you get to see a version of it. Somebody else gets to see a version of it, and whatever. And that band will basically just dominate every time they play because they understand. Okay, you know what? I'm so sick of playing this damn song. It's driving me nuts, but I love the reaction from the fans, and because the fans are reacting so prominently to what we're doing, it's like you enjoy the song again. So it's kind of one of those weird things, right? Like it's like I remember when I saw Iron Maiden live back at the Blues Fest, which I don't know why they call it the Blues Fest. They should call it the Ottawa Rock Fest or something like that, or Music Fest. It's like you got more metal bands there than you do blues bands now. But I remember Bruce Dickinson was on stage and he goes, "Okay, here's how the night's gonna go." Is that we're gonna play a lot of stuff from the new album. It was what do you call it? The Final Frontier album. I saw them for, and they were going to play a whole bunch of stuff from the new, a few old ones from each album, and it's kind of like the like everybody wants Run to the Hills, Number of the Beast, Wasted Years, all that, like all the really big hits that they had, right? And they're sick of playing these songs, they are. So they'll give you one. So they gave us Number of the Beast, okay? So the next night they're probably going to play like Wasted Years. The night after that they'll play whatever. So you land on whatever, Run to the Hills or whatever. But you can imagine how like these guys have played these songs so many times. Where they enjoy themselves is in the mood of the crowd playing for the crowd, right? It's because like they're probably like Steve Harris is probably thinking of like baking recipes or soccer scores. While he's playing, because it takes over and just put on a show while you're doing it, right? It's like I think I'll cook this tonight for supper. Whatever, because they just get so crazy at doing it. Then you go to your internet guys, and you got guitar channels, and there's not a dedicated guitar channel. I would never. Some people box themselves in like that. Like if your goal is to make your channel big, you kind of have to, like they say, pays to specialize. But if your goal is just to, share stuff with people, whatever, do whatever, right? I'm the do whatever guy, so you can get anything on this channel. But my music side of this channel is to inspire other people to play music, right? And I find the best way is to write songs. You know what I mean? So you've got all this technique down, and now you find it boring because you've been playing the same technique for the past year and a half. Sure, you're phenomenal at sweep picking, you can do all these great shredding licks, but that's all you can do because you don't know where to apply this stuff, right? And it only works when you can apply it in a manner of a song. It really does. So what I'm telling you is that if you're bored with music, write a song. Learn that song. Make the song as complicated as you want. Take the techniques that master them into that song. Okay? Play it till you can't get it wrong. And then go work on other techniques that you don't know. Like for me, like the hand, like the like trying to make a guitar sound like a bass or like the Tim Henson stuff. I don't do that stuff. I really don't. Do I like it? Yeah, I like it, but I'm not a fusion player, right? So it's not something that's enticing me right now, right? So for me, it's like, okay, well, I'm occupied enough with the neoclassical stuff as much as possible and metal that it's keeping me, because each time I write a song, I try to incorporate something new that I've learned. And there's always something new to learn. At some point, I might say, okay, well, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that, I've done that. Okay, it's getting redundant now. Okay, maybe I'll learn that tap, the jazzy kind of thing that Tim Henson does, the fusion stuff. Okay, maybe I'll do that. Oh, okay, master that. Great. Okay, wrote a couple of songs with it. Okay, that worked. Okay, let's try something else. Okay, maybe I take it back. Look at Paul Gilbert. Paul Gilbert plays blues now. Like he sits on one note now. Where why? Well, it's because he's done all the other stuff, right? So he's trying to keep guitar entertaining for him. So he's like, okay, well, I'll just like grind on one note and just see how much feel I can get out of that note. And he's going to probably get tired of that blues stuff probably fairly soon. And then you'll be like, okay, I got to do something new and creative and whatever. But that's the great thing about guitar is pick a genre, spend a lifetime in it. You know what I mean? Like there's no such thing as mastery. There's just making less mistakes than you normally make. That's it. Guitar, and that's not a discouraging thing at all. In fact, that's what keeps you playing guitar is the fact that you can't master it, the fact that you can't be the world's best guitar player ever, because people like different things, right? So the people that like Al Di Meola are probably going to respect Yngwie, but they're probably going to listen to Al Di Meola, right? People that like Yngwie probably respect Al Di Meola, but they're going to listen to Yngwie, right? That kind of stuff. So preference, you know what I mean? But really, no, when I hear these guys, oh, guitar's boring now. This is why people are no longer playing guitar. And then like the internet's full of people playing guitar. Like you get these really funny statements. I understand the clickbaitiness of it because I do it myself, so I'm guilty. Guilty. But the part that it really gets me is that the ones that believe it, that, oh, the music is not as good as and inspiring as it used to be. Yes, it is. It's just... you got to kind of let the past go and kind of really spend more time listening to the new stuff and really listening to it. Like headphones on, no distractions, and really listening to it. When I hear people say metal, oh, it all sounds the same and it's boring. And I'm like, well, what are you listening to? And they're like, listening to, say, jazz. I'm like, okay, well, you're gonna run into the same problem there too. You know what I mean? Or they're listening to blues. I'm like, you're really gonna run into the same problem there because blues is a lot more limited than metal, right? I know some people will fight me on that a bit, but it is. It stays within a structure. Like if you're, with Joe Bonamassa, right? If you like that guy, right? You have to understand that guy plays many styles. It's just he got famous doing Stevie Ray Vaughan licks. You know what I mean? Versions of, right? Is Stevie Ray Vaughan a better player than Joe Bonamassa? Is Joe Bonamassa a better player? Whoever you like better. You know what I mean? They're both excellent players. But, like I had my Stevie Ray Vaughan face. Marvin, how did you get in here? The door's closed. Get out of there. Sorry, Marvin the squirrel is like attacking my stockpile of black walnut. He thinks he lives in here. Get out of my garbage can. Marvin, what the hell's the matter with you? I had the door closed. Marvin. You're not listening to me, Marvin. Get out of my chip bag. Get out of my chip bag. Marvin, I'm going to throw you in the garbage. Oh, you are in the garbage. Crap. Marvin, get out. I gave you chips earlier. I shouldn't have gave him chips early. Now he's going after my garbage can. Well, I'm more worried about him stealing the black walnut. Marvin. Anyway, sorry guys. Marvin does this to me all the time. He sneaks in my house. And I don't know how he got in. The door better be closed. I'm going to get back to this video in a second. Yeah, I see you running out, you little bugger. Think I don't know where you live? Well, he kind of lives in here, but he's not supposed to. You outside? Did you go out? See, he sneaks in through the wall. And then he goes, I don't know, I guess it goes out underneath the veranda. You out here now? Sorry. I gotta find where Marvin is. Make sure you didn't get stuck or nothing. Marvin, where are you, buddy? He's probably gonna pop up there or something. Where'd you go? Oh, squirrels. You can't trust a squirrel. You can't trust a squirrel. Anyway. Yeah, sorry. Marvin always interrupts my videos. Some people like it. I'm glad people get, yeah. Did he steal? Don't you dare steal my black walnut. Yeah. Anyway. Marvin, that freaking Marvin. That's good. Oh, it's almost time to go home. Almost supper time. Yeah. I know. I don't trust him. I think I might have locked him in one night, but he seems to find a way in and out. So, anyway, so as I was getting to, so the people that like, you'll see this with the people that go from like say metal to classical, where suddenly metal is it's all dull and boring now. But it's like you do realize like there's the foundations of metal. A lot of it goes back to classical music, right? And classical players have the same problem too. They, especially if they're symphony players, they get bored with it because it's so rigid. Like Ingve made a really good point that he goes like Bach and stuff. Like those guys improvised all the time. Like like you never saw the same show twice with them. It's just they wrote it down, and then people took it really rigidly that you have to play it exactly note for note. So anything Paganini or whatever, like Paganini probably just wrote down what he wanted to do, and then did that, and then did something else, and then like he would have probably played everything different each night within variations of right. So yes, I got the. How does that go again? I can't even remember how it goes. Whatever, whatever. Like, but maybe the next time he plays it, maybe he plays like that the next time, right? You don't know. I mean, that's 400 years ago, 600 years ago. We don't know what they were playing back then in the 1600s. But we know what they wrote down, right? So classical players are like, okay, there's one girl, she was talking about it. She's like, there's no like, why is there no new real like a really lot of new real classical pieces? And what she goes is basically it's the people that own the venues have like strict rules of what can be played in those venues, right? So it doesn't encourage people to do their own thing. And I get that angle of it too. It's kind of like the music industry in general for most people. Like you sign a record deal, you're no longer in control of your music, pretty much. That so a lot of people try to do the independent thing, but as soon as they sign up with somebody, they're on the record labels. The record labels. Dime. So what ends up happening is they have to conform to whatever because they got to make money too, right? Like I get it, like you can say, oh, they're scum, they're sleaze, whatever, but it's a business, right? It is what it is. You want to be in the industry. There's benefits for both sides if they play their cards right, but you have to understand the people that put out the money are going to have more of a say of what you do and their demands, right? But what I'm getting at is just to keep people inspired to play. Like you got the guy that buys a guitar, you can play it fairly well, but then because he's a little bit frustrated with his playing, he goes out and buys another guitar and thinks that'll solve the problem. Even like he's in his head, he's telling himself that. You know what I mean. Like they're buying more gear because, and then they like, I'm gonna buy gear and become a gear review channel, and it's like I get that, but that gets dull after a while too. And if you want to stay motivated with the instrument, okay, One of the best things you can do is become a multi-instrumentalist. You'll never get bored of anything because you're going to be spending so much time doing different things. Like I was playing my violin today. I played the bass today. I didn't play the drums today, but played this guitar today. But the thing that is fascinating me the most is writing songs, right? And you don't have to write any one genre of song. You can get as really creative as you want, And the thing is maybe change up your amp settings. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. Uh, Maybe go straight through an amp and the sound you get is what you get, and you just focus on your playing. Stuff like that. But write songs. That's the whole point of learning all these complicated licks and everything. The problem is a lot of guitar players don't think of writing songs. They think of instrumentals, and I love instrumentals. Don't get me wrong, I really do. But they get long in the tooth after a while. And if you want to really frustrate yourself as a guitar player, try to be an instrumentalist. It really, really it's like, okay, you have a 4-minute song. It's okay, and I got to do a guitar solo basically over this 4 minutes. And some one or two songs like that is fine, but trying to do this every song, yeah, you're going to run into a wall pretty fast. So I would, you say, yeah, but I don't know how to sing. So why would I write a song if I don't know how to sing? Well, maybe it's not about you singing the song. Maybe it's about getting somebody else to sing the song, that can sing. Maybe you should take up singing. If you're a guitar player, bass player, whatever, you should think of your instrument as a tool to accompany your voice. Like it will take you a long time to develop your voice, but it makes your guitar a lot more interesting when you can, write a song that you can play and sing to. Suddenly it's not just about the technique and razzle dazzle. It's about the songwriting and stuff like that. And I think the songwriting, well, that's, uh, you know, poetry, creativity, it's everything, right? So yeah, that's just my take on, what I think a lot of people get lost in, why they get bored with guitar is they hit a plateau and they think that that's it, and they hit this, okay, I can't do any more than this, but they don't realize that the tools they have, like if you can even just do just being able to do that in a variation of, right? Switch it around, okay? So you're stealing from Paganini, whatever. If it worked for him, 400 or 500 years ago, it'll work for you, right? Nice little melody there, right? And you can just play around with it. And then, okay, well, that would make an interesting part of a song. Okay, put some chords around it. Now I got a song. Now I got to put lyrics to it. You know what I mean? So that, and then if you're doing all the, whoop. Okay, so you can shred. Okay, fine. Find a song where you just put those little bits in there. You don't have to do a 15-minute guitar solo. You know what I mean? In fact, less is more a lot of times, where you just put little dabs in there to tease people and build up to something bigger in the song. Songwriting, like you can be a guitar player that plateaus with your technique and your abilities to do things and still be a phenomenal songwriter. In fact, you probably will spend less time just worrying about your technique, when you more worried about whether the song is good or not. Like, is this a song you would listen to more than once? No matter what kind of technique you have, if you can't compose a good song, people are simply just not going to listen, right? So I say focus on songwriting as complete songs, even if you can't sing them yourself. Maybe you find somebody that does, right? So like this endless, I have to. Okay, I've mastered this technique. Now I got to find something that's more complicated. You finding things that are complicated to do for the sake of finding things that are complicated to do, like Marvin being back in my freaking house again. Marvin. Anyway, I gotta cut my video off because Marvin's being a pain. Yeah, I know you're there. I can hear you, buddy. Yeah, I gotta kick Marvin out of my house again. About the fourth time today. Marvin, you in there? Where'd you go, buddy? Well, he was in there. He's making a lot of noise. Probably not a hole in my wall right there. He could be coming in from there. He could be coming in from there. Who knows? He's probably out on there, though. Where'd he go? Anyway, Marvin the squirrel is now basically made enough, interrupted my video enough that you guys get the point what I'm talking about. Is he in there? Where the hell did he go? He's hiding in there somewhere anyway. All right.